Hello crafty friends, this is card number 14 in Full Deck Challenge 2. Today's prompts are blue, cheesecloth, ticket, stamping. For my color blue, I'm going to use a blue printed butterfly. These are available from Digital Collage Club. I will put a link in the description below. There's also a discount if you use my link. My piece of cheesecloth, which I will show you a new way to use it. I have a roll of vintage bus tickets. And for my stamping, I'm going to use some black ink with my script stamp. To start, I'm going to prepare my card as I normally do with some white tissue paper. This is just to prepare the surface for any kind of ink or paint that I might add. I'm adding my tissue paper with some Mod Podge. You could also use craft glue or gel medium. And the tissue paper I use is just the type you use for gift wrapping. And when I place it down, I scrunch it with my fingers to create some wrinkles and some texture. You don't have to do this part, but I do like the texture it creates. I also apply some Mod Podge over the top and then I dry it well. I'm going for an overall vintage theme, so I'm going to add some ink. Just with my ink applicator, I'm just rubbing it over the surface of the card. And there where the wrinkles are that I created, it makes a darker area, like it picks up more of the ink, so it creates an uneven tone, which I like. I'm just tearing off the edges because I don't want straight edges, and then I'm just edging it too with my ink. The ink that I'm using is a Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color Vintage Photo. For my stamping, I'm using my script stamp. That is probably my favorite, and I'm just going to dab it into the black ink and then press it onto the face of my card. And then I'm going to dry all that really well. And because I always like a little bit of bling, I'm going to add some gold leaf. I'm just applying this with the glue stick. I press a little bit of the glue stick onto the card and then I stick the gold leaf over. I'm not going to obviously put it everywhere, just dabbing it here and there just to give it a bit of a shimmer and a bit more pizzazz. And now that's all dry, I'm going to do something really crazy with my card. Hold your breath. I'm going to rip it in half. This is taking you totally out of your comfort zone. Go on and do it. It's really fun and something different. And then I'm going to reattach it on the opposite side and unevenly. And I'm just going to stitch it on my sewing machine down the middle just to put it back together. Something very, very different. And now that you've ripped and reassembled your card, we're going to decorate it. And I want to overload it with layers. So I'm just taking all the vintage types of papers and different papers I have, and I'm going to create layers. Each layer, as I add it, is going to be slightly smaller than the one below, just to be able to see the layers underneath. I'm also going to use a piece of fabric. This is calico, which rips really easily. So I've ripped a small piece and I've left the frayed edges. I love the additional texture that it adds. For the cheesecloth, let me show you another way that I use my cheesecloth. So just cut your piece, pull it and fray it a little bit just to make it more textury and uneven. And then if you have white gesso, just apply some in dribs and drabs with your paintbrush over the cheesecloth. Now, it doesn't have to be all over it. You're not painting a solid color. You're just sort of glopping it in areas. You want it uneven. You want some thicker and some thinner, and you want some actual blobs on there. Once it dries, it is really like stiff and has amazing texture, and the white of the gesso creates a great contrast. And look at that. Doesn't that look great? And something a little different. I'm also going to use a black die cut. This is a leaf die that is from Kokorosa Studio. I'll put a link to that in the description box below too. I'm adding that right underneath all my layering, and I'm putting it to the left because I want some of the leaves to stick out and overlap over the background. And then I'm going to just keep stacking all my layers on top of each other until I'm happy with the composition. You'll notice that I tore the tickets in half. They were too wide for the overall look, and my calico also folded over. Once I'm happy with all of it, I'm just going to do one staple down the middle to attach everything to the card. And then I'm going to cut out my focal point, which is this beautiful blue butterfly. I'm attaching the butterfly a little bit off center because my black leaves are off center in the background. So to balance that, I'm doing the butterfly more to the right. And then just underneath the butterfly, I'm adding a lot of thread. I'm using the same color thread that I used to stitch the card together. Difficult to see a little bit in the video, but it is very bunchy and full of texture. Then I'm adding a dab of glue on the back of my butterfly and attaching her down. If I may say, I think this is my favorite card so far from this Full Deck Challenge 2. Here is a close-up so you can see all the details and all the beautiful texture that has come through. I really hope you enjoyed this video and were inspired to join in the challenge and to create your own card. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.